The state of Oregon has a shortage of public defenders. There just aren't enough lawyers to represent people charged with felony crimes. That means in Multnomah County alone, hundreds of cases are being delayed or even dismissed. Investigative reporter Evan Watson joins us. And Evan, we've covered this topic from multiple angles. We've talked to people in jail awaiting their hearings, the victims of crimes, and also lawyers who say they are simply overworked. But now we know more about what types of criminal cases are being dismissed most often.
Yes, Ashley, the Multnomah County District Attorney calls this public defense crisis. And in his efforts to help address the issue, his office is sharing dismissed cases on a weekly basis. That means we know what type of alleged crime is most likely to go unpunished.
A familiar scene in a Multnomah County courtroom. A judge, a defendant, but no public defense attorney.
There is no attorney to appoint to you today.
Willie Choatson is a public defender who says his peers are working as hard as they can, but it's not enough.
And there's not a shortage of attorneys. People are going to law school. They're just not choosing this work because it is hard, because it is stressful, because we are in the front lines, and because it is underpaid compared to other legal professions.
Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt says the lack of public defenders is an urgent threat to public safety. Individuals suspected of a crime have a right to counsel. Victims of a crime have a right to justice. In many cases, neither is happening. Between February and now, more than 300 criminal cases in Multnomah County were dismissed due to a lack of public defenders. More than 2,200 cases have been delayed until a later date in hopes that a public defense attorney will be available. Schmidt mentioned his frustration in a previous interview with KGW.
There is a whole host of factors that play negatively into our ability sometimes to bring a successful prosecution. Courts dismissing the cases because there's not a defense attorney is one of the most recent.
So what kinds of cases are being thrown out? New data from the DA's office shows more than half of the dismissed cases are property crimes, and a majority of those are car thefts. The DA's office reports 80 car theft cases were dismissed between February and November. Among person crimes, 9 assault cases and 6 robbery cases were dismissed for a lack of counsel. There are 2 other case categories that make up the bulk of remaining dismissed cases: a felon in possession of a gun and eluding police. About 25 cases of each were dismissed over the last 10 months.
I think it's important to understand, I think the pandemic worsened or exacerbated or revealed a lot of these problems. These problems are not new. There have been studies going back 20 years in Oregon that we're not funding public defense as much as we should.
District Attorney Schmidt is part of a group that's working on a legislative and budgetary response to the public defender shortage. And he said his office is tracking and publishing this information to show how this part of the justice system is crumbling. Ashley?
All right, Evan, thank you. And our investigative team did a deep dive into the public defender shortage and its impacts on our justice system. You can watch that right now streaming on our free Roku and Fire TV app, KGW+.